how would you describe the current political situation in the country?
We started the flight, which is a transitional period. We decided to gather all the bodies, all the energies. We have a pilot, a co-pilot, and we want to have a soft landing. But we go through, some zones of turbulence. But this is normal for, when you take a flight. This is something that happens. We had one in 2022, Black Thursday. We had, one also during the last days. And I want to pay tribute to all those who lose their lives, because no matter where they come from, they are Chadians, and their blood is Chadians' blood. And at the head of the government, this is really something which is not good for no one. But this is also where we should rethink and find in this difficult situation a stone of hope, and make sure that through the reconciliation and through unity, we make sure that we have a soft landing, to make sure that, by end of the year, Chadian people can choose their leaders, presidential leader, and at presidential level, but also at MPs level, and then local level, to make sure that they can appoint, choose, elect their servant leaders to handle their immediate problems: access to electricity, education, health system, jobs, opportunities. This is the what our people need. So this is also an opportunity for me to ask for a clear commitment from our friends, and this is why I came also here in the United States, to make sure that those who can help Chad in that situation, because we have to conduct the transition to the end through the organization of the elections. But we have a new elephant in the room, which is the question of the refugees, because the situation collapsed in Sudan, and we welcome more than 1 million people in Chad. So the $1 we had at that time for the basic needs of the population, now we use that dollar. We should divide it by 4. So part of this goes for security, which become a public investment made by Chad, but for the benefit of the region.
Right.
And part of those that dollar goes to the question, the humanitarian aspect. Those people are coming from neighboring countries, but we open our doors, we open our frontiers. So it's good that people could help us on that. And then you have the questions of climate change, etc., and the basic needs of the population. So I think we need to leverage from 1 to 4 now. The financial resources that we have today, if we want to meet the existing needs, we need 4 times what we have today. So it's important that our partners be aware of this. So to describe the situation in Chad, the flight is continuing, and we expect and we hope we can have a soft landing despite the turbulences that we are going through.
In this case, the soft landing is the free, fair elections.
Free, fair election and inclusive election. Right. Because this is why from day one, when I was appointed Prime Minister, we made sure that we have independent bodies in charge of the election. We made sure that even the constitution we have introduced improvements, and the laws for the election introduced the possibility for independent people to run. For women, a minimum number and percentage for women, mandatory for every party,
for political,
for the youth, and for rural areas, to make sure that there is an ownership also at national level. And we intend, and we are going to train around 50,000 volunteers, to be able to handle the poll boxes, etc. So these are the progress, these are the innovations that are on the table, to make sure that when you compare the new constitution to the former one, the previous one, it was forbidden to the youth to be candidate. But today
you had to be what, 40 years old?
40 years old, right, in a country where you have 80% of the population
majority are under 20 something.
Yes, so this shows you clearly the kind of where we come from and where we are today. So we are making progress.
So some progress.
And yes, and this is
so
the way forward.
You took over as Prime Minister in January of this year, just kind of really fresh into the job. Can you highlight some of the key priorities for your administration in terms of governance and policy initiatives?
First of all, institutions. Because unless we have a strong institution and we make sure that Chadian people can choose the leaders, they can decide to choose their servant leaders who are going to handle their development problems and security problems. Unless we do that, there is nothing sustainable. So one of our first focus was to make sure that we create and we lay the foundations for strong institutions. This is number one. Number two, when we took office, actually, children were at home. There was a strike and children were not going to school. So the first thing we did was to make sure that we will bring back children at school. And this gives me the opportunity to say that the top of the top priority of my government is the question of education, right? If Africa need to be changed, if we want to transform Africa, to transform Chad, to transform Sahel, we have to bet on education.
Right.
So education became number one priority of my government, you know, and I'm happy to see that I went to the African Union to represent the president and to talk about Chadian's position, and we are happy to know that the theme of the African Union this year is about education.
Right.
And so we want to make sure that education becomes the top priority. And then what in our country, 70% of our population is rural, is living in rural areas. So unless we design what I call the minimum package for every village, by village we mean rural area, you know, communities.
Is that economic plan?
Yes, absolutely. One village, one minimum development package. And in that development package, what do I put? One village, one school. One village, one health center. One village, one clean water facility. One village, one source of access to electricity. And then if we add to that a local unit for local transformation of the existing products in those rural areas, if we do so, we have a concrete impact on people's life. And if you respond to the problems of the people living in rural areas, then it means you are fixing the problem.
That's the majority
of the
vast country.
Majority,
Right.
And this is number one. And then our priority also to put in place a new mindset of accountability. In my government, we are signing contract of performance with the minister to make sure that they can deliver, and they have targets, objective, and they can deliver on that. We set up a governmental delivery unit, and when I came here, I had also opportunity to work with friends of the Harvard University and others to help up, including World Bank, etc., others to help us set up that delivery unit, which is going to be a one-stop shop somehow, where you can come and you can delete the bottlenecks, etc., and then you promote accountability at country level.
So that one place is where you access government services.
Absolutely.
It's a portal.
Absolutely. And if there is a problem, if business leaders across the world are coming to invest and they face problems, then we can solve those problems very quickly, etc. And we add to that the digitalization of the country to make sure that we can fast track things and we can deliver quickly. And this is the way to go.
Absolutely.
Right? So these are the core priorities that we have. The good news is that the MPs approve this program.
They're on board with it.
I think the remaining thing is to get the appropriate time to be able to deliver on the ground.
Absolutely. Mr. Prime Minister, finally, given the regional challenges, particularly in the Sahel region, how is Chad contributing to the regional security and stability?
I think there is no hazard here. Our country, Chad, is the geographic center of Africa is in Chad, in the southern part of Chad. The oldest man discovered in the world is in Chad, Tumai. So what we offer to the world is our humanity, despite the fact that we have development challenges. And this is the role that Chad is playing. This is the role that we intend to play in the Sahel region and above. I was mentioning the fact that despite the very difficult situation in Sudan, we kept our borders open to make sure that we can welcome our brothers and sisters who are flying, who are leaving their countries, going away because they are seeking home. Do you offer them home? More than 1.5 million refugees. 60% of the refugees of the Sahel are there in Chad, which shows, I think, our humanity. People over everything. But now, because we stood up with dignity, we need also a support of our friends of Chad, friends of the Chadian people, etc. This is on the humanitarian side. But we intend also to continue to play our role on security side, to continue to transform our army, our security forces. And this is for us a public investment that we are bringing on the table. Last but not least, we need to make sure that we move our country from a one-legged kind of country to a two-legged country, where basically the question of security, we focus on that 100%, but also the question of development.
Yeah.
Because a country is like a bird. If you are an eagle and you want to go further, unless you have your two wings, you are not going to go further.
Right.
And a human being like you and me, we can't choose between your left leg and your right one. The left one is security. The left one is
the right one is development.
Yes, it's development, and development goes hand in hand with democracy, because this is where people can choose the leaders, and they can decide that they will appoint only servant leaders. So this is the new Chad we are trying to build, and this is why we are asking the international community and our friends internationally to help us. We are not asking, we are not begging. We are saying we stood up with dignity, and now we want people to come and help us.
Partner with
and
you.
We know our vision is clear. What we are looking for is the support, because we are already investing in a public good, which is security, the fight against terrorism, the question of climate change, the business enabling environment, to make sure that people can come and invest in Chad. This is the Chad of today. This is the new Chad. I am head of the government 1st of January within a new republic, because we moved from the 4th republic to a 5th republic. This is really with a new constitution. It means that it's a fresh,
it's a new era.
It's a new era, and we invite everybody to come and discover this new Chad and help us have a soft landing.
Soft landing.
Yes.
Mr. Prime Minister, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.